Hey there, Saber friends. What is going on, Saber friends? Space Windu here. We've got a build stream today for Malcolm. We're going to build, the idea is to build a NeoPixel lightsaber, kind of like this one, but one that is completely custom. So, you know, this one here is based off of a Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi type of look, the V2. Got a Profi in here, a NeoPixel blade, and this is the, you know, the electronics, the type of blade that I'm trying to do for Malcolm, and his looks like this. There is a Saber Forge emitter. If you guys have seen previous build streams like last year, you may have seen me work on Malcolm's saber. It's got some slits cut into the emitter now, which will show the blade. Like, let's see. Let's actually see if this works. Haven't tried this yet. Let's see what this might look like. This might look pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty nicely faceted. Take a look. So this would kind of be like what Malcolm's emitter might look like when you turn it on. And you've got a bunch of 7, to be exact, 7 slits. I think it was Ultra Sabers that has an emitter like this, and Malcolm liked that theirs had slits. Now the Saber Forge one that Malcolm got for this build did not have the slits. Now I think Ultra Sabers has 5 slits. I put 7 in this just to give him extra. If you're seeing another little hole there with light coming through, that's going to be the blade retention. So you won't actually see light coming out of that, just the 7 slits there. So that's coming out pretty good. It has to be cleaned up. That has to be cleaned up a little bit still. Let me just see here. See if anyone's in here. I got to look. I'm not looking at my computer. I'm looking at my my iPad here. Repulse Collectibles. Hello there. Well, hello there. Thanks for being here. Gonna have some fun, build some parts for Malcolm. JJ is here. He says, yeah, I got JJ Saber right here. You guys may have seen a short video as a preview to this one. But this one is, I'll make a video of this pretty soon. It's just an absolute beast. It's got a quad star, which means there's 4 strips of LEDs for over 400 LEDs. This is a Graflex, like a Luke Empire Strikes Back type of Graflex. Very loud. I wanted my saber to be that loud, but a Graflex has just got the ability to be loud. It's got a lot of resonance in there. Mundo is here. Hello there. Well, hello there, Mundo. JJ is here. Wow, that's sharp. And Bane, space. What's going on, Bane? Thanks for being here. And let's take another look at some parts that we're working on for Malcolm. First, I'm going to put on my my eye protection before we get to this, because I'll show you what I'm just going to be finishing off some other slits. Now, you saw the slits in the emitter. There's 7 slits in the emitter, and there's 4 slits in the main body right here. And 2 of those reveal, hopefully you guys can hear me, 2 of those reveal crystal chamber. Now, Malcolm sent me this saber with a crystal already in it. So that the hilt body part that houses the crystal, it's got a crystal already embedded in it. So you can see right here. And it actually, this is perfect because the way that Malcolm glued the crystal in, so it's a real fat crystal. So I don't know if you could see, but it's like, it's I have a little flashlight or something that I can show you. We got one better. So I don't know if you can see down in there. There's a crystal in there. The way it's glued is actually perfect for the way that I cut out those slits, because those slits there reveal the crystal chamber and the crystal itself, and the crystal set back glued against the back wall of that MHS part that's in there. So when I light up the crystal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 Space Windu, or now they're called Civilized Sabers, blade plug chips. So if you don't know what that is, let me show you. I think most of y'all know what that is, but let me show you what that is. It's always hard to set up to do a show on this side. The equipment doesn't always cooperate. So this is a Civilized Sabers blade plug chip. If you don't already know, it has 5 LEDs on it. And what I'm going to do is, see, it's got those NeoPixel LEDs, and on the back it's got the connections for the pogo connections. So what I'm going to do to light up this crystal, since it's such a fat crystal, and we've got some real estate, because as you may have noticed, this is pretty big saber. So let me show you like the overall length here, and then the final part, which actually I'm going to be working on. The final part is a Darth Vader style emitter, which is kind of raw. I did a lot of work to this piece of metal over the past year or so, but or in the previous live streams as well. This is a real thick. This is like a real thick aluminum tube, and being so thick and heavy, the inner diameter actually slides over MHS parts. So this is a pretty beefy piece. And what you guys can't see off camera is I have some pictures of a Darth Vader lightsaber up on my screen, and I'm going to be, just using that as reference to try to make this part look a little more like a Darth Vader collar. And then I'm going to paint that black, like off camera, like after the stream, I'll paint this black. We'll give it a little weathering or not. There's some other clean pieces on here. For instance, the pommel is a nice anodized black pommel. The control box is clean black. So I'll have to ask Malcolm, does he want like anything weathered on this? But the Darth Vader collar is going to go up here. And then just needs a little work because I want it to sit in a little bit more than it does right now. But I think you'll get the idea because it is screwing in a little bit. So it's a pretty big saber, So we've got some room in here. The electronics, actually I forgot a piece down here. I forgot one of my shrouds. I usually do a lot of shrouds when I make a custom saber, I like multiple shrouds. So Malcolm's got multiple shrouds. So the piece I'm working with is still a little loose. That's a Darth Vader style emitter. We've got the emitter collar, I guess you could say. On the Darth Vader saber, that's more like the emitter. It's also the collar piece. On here, it's kind of the collar, and then we have a Kanan. Is this a Kanan? I think this is a Kanan style emitter, and I put the slits in. We've got a crystal chamber down here, plenty of room. I'm going to light it up with 2 Civilized Sabers blade plug chips, one of them at the top of the crystal, one of them at the bottom of the crystal. I'm going to be able to run my wires by that. I think I'm going to have the speaker down here. There's a good amount of resonance here. And so the crystal is going to be lit up by 10 neopixels, RGB neopixels. That'll be pretty sweet and bright in there. And then I might do... I don't know what I'm going to do with the control box exactly, but I think I want to fill up the gap with the control box. And I have some ideas for the button. But for today, I thought we would just clean this piece up because as you can see, I made some marker lines with a Sharpie. And that's where I made the lines, like with the Sharpie, is like where I have to kind of take off a little bit of the material and reveal a little more of the underneath, because there's some beveled parts to the piece underneath that will be revealed a little bit more once I just do some hand filing. So the last thing I did was like screw in this piece so it's solid. This shroud piece down here is going to have a belt clip. It's going to have the Saber Forge style belt clip, probably like on the backside, so that's when it's hanging on a belt, you will be able to see the crystal reveal. I have to kind of figure that out. Maybe it should hang on the belt like this. You know, maybe that's better. So the crystal chamber is kind of on the inside. I have to refer to my drawing again too. I have a drawing for this. I have to see what to do. Mundo says solid, bet it's heavy. Yeah, it's kind of heavy, you know, and there's not like a battery in here yet. So put a battery in, and the rest of the electronics don't weigh that much. It's not that bad because it is all aluminum. And I think this heavy bit right here is actually going to be a nice counterweight for when the blade goes in. I kind of do. But yeah, this is like, let's see how long it is. Wow, it's over 15 inches because we have this Kanan type of shroud from Saber Forge that goes all the way to the end, and then this pointed pommel. So from here to here, it doesn't look like, I would have guessed like 13 and a half, but it's over 15. Wow. Pretty big. But this can also screw in some more. So probably by the time, maybe it's 15, by the time I tighten that up and arrange where this box is going to be, allow this to tighten up, work on this collar a bit. So anyway, enough talking. Let's unscrew, get to our bit that we want to get to. So I'm going to open up this piece here. And I usually build them, I install from the top down. That's how I like to do it. Which one was it? Maybe it's this one. Here we go. Takes off these 2 screws. This could be a little bit flaky in here, a little bit. Maybe it needs a blowout because these screws went in. I haven't opened it yet. So this is a point at which you have to be careful. I have tapped and threaded these screws, and I'm going to attempt to undo the shroud piece. You know, it's okay if it causes some scratches under there because I'm just going to try to slide it straight off. Then I have to clean that on the inside. So let's see how it came out. Okay. And let's see if I can pop this. Some gloves on. Gonna push this straight up. Got a wood stick. Try not to hurt anything, but yeah, give me some leverage there to push. Yeah, the metal's moving a little bit. So I got like an MHS piece kind of stuck in there. There we go. If I could just get it past the screw holes that I made, I could clean it up a bit, and then it will be looser. Here we go. Just revealed some of them. Okay. So I got my steel wool. So this isn't like a normal install. This is custom, which means that there's nothing else like this one. But that also presents, its own issues. Things go slower when things are done by hand. I don't have like a CNC machine or anything like that, so everything's done by hand for me. So I have to think about how I want to do things, what I can do with a drill press, what I can do by hand. Take cues from fellow saber makers on tips and tricks and stuff when they give them. But I don't know how many people are doing like the custom, like the full custom, anymore. But it'll take a really long time. End up fiddling with a part like this. So as you can see, I got like an MHS piece in there that I'm trying to loosen out. So let's maybe add a little bit of oil, because I did clean it. I did clean it pretty well with my steel wool. It should be slidable. Let's see. Might just work on the Darth Vader piece if this keeps giving me this much trouble. I'm able to slide it straight, but it's just not popping all the way through. Okay, maybe it is now because I added a little bit of oil. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Ooh, that's a problem. Okay. Let's open up our nice free mask from Adafruit here that I got for ordering LEDs. So let's use this mask because we're going to use our hand files. I could pretend like I'm a ninja in front of you guys, and that's what I can pretend. Let's put back on our gloves here. So the idea is I really want to get these slots to be perfect. And I've got some marker lines there, and I'm going to use my hand files, which I would say are like my favorite tools, because this is my favorite part of the build is the shaping of the hilt itself. I like these type of hand files. I also use, like, for a huge portion, if I have to take a lot off, I'll use a larger file. Pretty much done with the phase of needing to take a lot off. So I've got these smaller hand files. And what I do is I usually use my drill press area as kind of a work zone. Sometimes as a tray to hold stuff. Get it underneath a nice light. And then I'm going to basically just take off the marker lines I made and try to get it right. For some weird reason, I like this part of it to actually work with the metal, to sculpt the metal. You know, you could end up sweating a little bit, but it's sometimes fun to actually make the custom part. I always like to look in the light here at the parts that are flat, and you could see in the light if you got them flat, if you got them even, because of the way the light hits it. You know, there's different hand files with different shapes. Just trying to pick the right one. I've got a bunch more down here that I keep nearby. Different shapes. Sometimes there's a square, you know, you can't like drill a square hole, obviously. So if you want a square hole in your lightsaber, the way I think you do it is you drill a round hole and use hand files to actually make it square. Sometimes that's a nice change for greeblies or a window to something underneath if it's square. You know, there's some square holes on a Graflex on the clamp. So run the first Canon lightsaber ever. There are square holes. So square holes belong on a lightsaber. It's hard to make that happen without doing it by hand. You know, as far as I know, I don't have a huge machine that could make a square hole for me or make the part for me. Need some elbow grease to make this happen. Some of the new hilts are an easier install, especially when you buy the chassis that are sold for them. I usually like to make something at least partially by hand. Even when I use a chassis, I will modify it or something, add something to it, you know. I like to make it unique if possible. And who else is working on sabers today? Anyone else working on sabers today? Mundo, are you working on your saber today? Mundo was unpacking. The last I heard. Try to take this other piece down a little bit so we never get stuck again. I want it to get stuck again the way it was stuck. Keep a bunch of old t-shirts around and use them for various gross jobs here. Paint splattered or oil splattered. Using sandpaper now to just take down one of these parts a little bit so we don't have trouble like we just did at the top of the stream. There we go. It's probably better to do this on a flat surface, actually. I'm using a pretty high grit right here, and I'm wearing a mask so that I don't inhale anything here. Little tiny particles. Mundo says, I'm cleaning my pipes. This is going to be a 1-inch blade, JJ. The emitter, I was thinking the emitter looked like it was almost like a 7/8, but 1-inch blade fits in there. Here we go. Getting this part ready. This is 1200 grit. I'm going to hit this with 3000. Get the shine back. You know, I've also got a little pad of 4000. I like this for making things very shiny. Lots of different sandpapers here. This is the part of the shop that's a little messy. Get a little messy, but take a shower after, right? 500, no. That's not what I want. Where's my 3000 bit? 1200, no. Oh, what else do I got in here? Here we go. $3,000. Messier than I thought in here. Lots of sanding stuff. Okay. Gonna get this shined up a bit. I should probably blow it off with the blower, the compressor. That might be loud for you guys. I should probably mute when I use the compressor. Yeah, cleaning up this part right here. Little MHS female to female. One of the parts I've got in this saber. That's looking better. Every time I alter the inside of this ribbed piece, I will have to sand it a bit on the inside just to clean it up. Yeah, that part stinks about the mask, is that your glasses get foggy. Feels good once all the machining is done, I'll tell you. When you're working on something custom and you get done with the machining part, that's a good feeling. So that's what I'm working toward, so we can get Malcolm's saber installed out to him by his birthday. His birthday's coming up next month. We got to get this ready. I still see Sharpie marker. That's why I keep sanding this. That's why I keep hitting this area. I'm trying to get rid of the Sharpie marker. That means that's a bit I don't need. Getting there. Pretty close. Getting there, getting there. A little more marker. Yeah, Mundo, there's a lot of different ways to make a saber. You could get a hilt that's kind of mostly finished and you just have to put in the electronics, or if you get a hilt that's completely installed. What I'm doing here is the long way. I'm trying to make a unique hilt. So only Malcolm will have this hilt. No one else is going to go through this work. No one else is going to go through this type of stuff to do this, right? So he's pretty assured that he'll have a unique hilt. I think I'm almost there on this part. So this part took like multiple days, One day I sawed through. Probably worked on some other part as well. Then the next day I took it from a rough cutout with the Dremel to smoother. Then there was maybe some more sanding. Then there was some steel wool. Then there was some more sanding, correcting some of the angles. And now this, I hope, is the last step on this one. On this part, we got multiple shrouds on this saber. So just trying to get them all to really, really look good together. Display this crystal chamber as much as I can through those slots, because it's a multi-layered step down to the crystal chamber. The last time I worked on this part, I just screwed it in. I lined up the screws. I tapped the holes. I got this part to fit in there and be solid, and now it's just an aspect of making it perfect, trying to make it better. Get these lines straighter, It's kind of by eye. It's like sculpting. You could do it by eye. And there's horizontal lines on the hilt itself that I'm lining up with. So that's why it's easy to sort of measure when you put it together. I think the most important tool is the drill press. I'm using it just as a table right now, but it's pretty important for drilling. I even buff sabers on it, buff parts on it, make it do double duty. It's hot in this mask, I'll tell you. Oh, somebody's calling. They're not watching. Who's calling? They're not watching. They need to get with the program, subscribe to Space Windu, and start watching. Stop calling, start watching. Maybe that was Malcolm. Calling saying, give me some pointers on what to do with his saber. I should have looked. Come on, you're live. What are you doing? You're live. You can't answer the phone. Maybe it's a lawyer call. Maybe it's Lucas saying, "Don't make a lightsaber." That's my idea. Well, I'm making a custom lightsaber, so it's not tied to any character besides Malcolm. All right, here we go. Here we go. It's starting to come together. I've said that before, though. Maybe I could have been a dentist, you know? Could have shaped someone's tooth like this. Maybe been a little messier. Okay, let's take a look here. Are my... They don't look perfect yet. They don't look perfect yet. We got to keep going a little bit here. Still not perfect. Here we go. Get this angle straighter. And open up another slot a little more. That's what it takes to open it up. You need a lot of elbow grease. All right, the slots are looking a lot more even. They are looking a lot more even now. This is a MHS shroud material I carved up for Malcolm's saber. It is starting to look straighter and better every minute. Maybe a little more. Maybe a little more. We don't want to make it less than, maybe. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. To get the different variations in the look of the different shroud pieces, I use different metal tubes for the different shroud material. So I have MHS shroud material for a few of the shrouds. One, two, I think two of the shrouds, MHS. One of the shrouds, way thicker aluminum tube that also goes over MHS material. Actually had to open it up a little bit, but this is almost 3 times as thick as MHS shroud, so it gives me the opportunity to actually make some bevels in it that are very deep. I always put bevels on my parts for MHS shroud material. So the first thing I do when I feel like I'm satisfied with something like this is I go to clean up the inside a little bit. This is where it's good to have the mask on because if you saw in the light how much dust is coming off of these steel wool pieces, they basically disintegrate. So you guys probably know that already. They basically disintegrate and it's floating all this little metal dust. You don't want to be breathing that in. So I clean up the inside. Now I've already used my deburring tool right here. I've already used this on the edges of my shroud material so that it easily slides on and off. Once I'm done, once I was satisfied with the height of each of these pieces, I did that. So that makes it easier. Otherwise, you're going to make a lot of scratches along your underside, your MHS pieces that are underneath the shroud. And once I'm satisfied with that, usually get a little piece of scrap, some scrap like this, which is approximately 1,000 grit sandpaper. I wrap up my hand file because the hand file is a different grit. It's like harsh. I wrap it in like 1,000 here. And we're going to clean up, really going to clean up. You guys probably can't see it in this camera. Probably looks pretty good to camera view. But what you want to do is on the inside of these areas, I'm not going to say it's sharp. It's probably not sharp, but it's not as shiny as it could be. So you want to use some sandpaper wrapped around something, whether it be a toothpick for a small part or these larger slots. I'm using sandpaper around a hand file, and I'm just going to do the same thing I was doing with the hand file, but now I have sandpaper over it, and it's going to come out because of the grit of sandpaper, very high grit here. It's going to come out looking shinier, more like a finished machine-made part, maybe even softer than a machine-made part because machine-made parts can still be sharp. This is going to make sure that we're not sharp at all. It's going to feel like a well-used grip when I'm finished here. Because that's basically what this part is. You know, this is like supposed to be a high-tech looking device, but this part here is the grip. It's basically, these are finger marks. Yeah, it's protecting the crystal, but this is grips. So this is where the hand is going to fall. I'm going to make sure it feels good as well as looks good. I've got a lot of, saber forge sabers that are sharp. When they get to the customer, that's not good. I've cut my hand on the saber forge hilt, so I kind of learned, the hard way. It's like you really want to make it so that nobody cuts themselves. I could see in the light that this is getting a lot shinier, a lot cleaner on the inside edges. Even if the camera's not picking it up that well, they will show in, high resolution photos that it's improved, that it's a professional look. I've already done that nice bevel with a shiny edge to the top and bottom of this part. So it's just a matter of matching that elite look with these slots. Making sure nobody can say, hey, I wasn't done to the highest standard. It's like, no, bitch. This shit was done to the highest standard, right? We're trying to do our best here. So nobody can say nothing like that. We're just doing our best, making these slots perfect. Perfect as, you know, nothing a human makes is going to be perfect, but and I like how this shows through to the crystal chamber. It's a pretty cool idea Malcolm had. Rather than, you know, having to open up the saber to see the crystal. This is going to be visible like while the saber's on, or maybe we'll do like a pulsing deal on the crystal even while the saber's off. Like I said, we're going to have 10 RGB pixels around. This piece is pissing me off. Let me get a piece of this. Piece of 3000. Trying to wrap this around here. Yeah, the crystal is going to be lit by 10 LEDs. That's going to be powerful. I'm really working toward these soft edges here and this type of look in every one of the parts. That's why I said that that Darth Vader part that I was working on is still kind of raw, because I had to whittle it down from such a big chunk. It's taking a little bit of time to make that civilized, you know, to make that part fit with the rest. But I think that extra work is worth it. I put some of those large metal pieces on different sabers before. For instance, Stephen Powell's grip bar lightsaber that I made custom. His has a part that's made from the same tubing, a collar like this, where I think he's got the buttons in it, or maybe the buttons in the copper bit that I put on for him. But so this isn't the first time I've used that tubing. I'm even using that tubing on my own custom lightsaber. I like that heavy shroud material. That's nice. I like any kind of shroud material. Copper, aluminum. This all happens to be aluminum, but you know, I'll pretty much try brass. I've used brass. I like that. I like copper because it's just as soft as aluminum. So is brass. Easy to work with. Steel is the worst. I've got a steel part over here. You know, I was considering, this is like a steel part that Harris ordered from Martin Bear chassis. And I think something with, what's wrong with this bit? Oh yeah, it has a you can see right there's a crack in it. There's like it was a mistake. It was a mistake in the process of making this. So they printed him another one, and Harris gave me this. Let me get a drink. What I was thinking of doing with this, actually, as I handle it, I can feel that it's broken. But I was thinking of cutting this down and just using the look of it maybe as a battery cover or a partial. You know, it's got some cool openings in it and stuff like that. It is quite thin, but this is steel. And what I was thinking of doing was actually, I'm not sure I'm going to do this, but so I've got a Dark Star from Solo's Hold. Aaron sent me awesome Dark Star, not yet installed, but I'm working on it, and I'm thinking of maybe using this piece of steel chassis as some kind of thing on the inside of this. So when you actually open the Dark Star up to reveal what's going on inside, you might see a piece of this Martin Bear chassis. I'm not positive yet, but I only bring that up because steel's hard to work with. So when I thought about, cutting through that steel and making something work as agreeably inside of the Dark Star, I had to think twice. I was like, well, steel's pretty hard to work with, So, but that being very thin, I'm thinking maybe I can swing that. Maybe I can swing that to happen. All right, let's continue here. Yeah, Mundo says not always easy. It takes time. There you go. Takes some time. But when you get that result, like it's done, or you made it for somebody and makes you feel good, makes them feel good. That's pretty nice. Oh, now that I look at it, you know what? It's like I want to go a little further into two of these slots. Sorry. All right, so let me get my file just a little bit more. Two of these slots don't look totally even, so I may have to sand a little bit more. Aluminum, copper, and brass really flake away when you start filing like this. Of course, not as easily as like soap or something, right? But it is pretty easy to work with. Aluminum is considered a soft metal. It's pretty malleable, believe it or not. So you can get a set of these hand files off Amazon. I think they're about $7 or $10 or $12, right? Depending on which ones you get. And you can kind of play around with some aluminum parts. Why not? Or copper. My buddy Harris loves copper parts. He loves working with copper. I love copper. I put copper on my, or I asked Darth Chasm to put copper on my main personal saber Jedi Assassin. We have a copper emitter on that one that the custom saber shop made for Darth Chasm for me as a special emitter. Copper's a bit heavier though, so you could feel it. I think brass is even heavier. I had a saber made out of brass. Very heavy. Okay, get my 3000 grit again. Maybe I should hit it with, what else do I have here? I keep all little bits of sandpaper underneath here. You never know. You never know when a little piece will be useful. Some of them fall on the floor when I'm working with a bigger piece. I pick it up, I save it a little. I'm one of those like hoarders, right? Just using stuff a couple times, using sandpaper a lot until it's disintegrated, basically, and then I throw it away. It's a little piece of nothing. It just looks good when you shape it yourself. Got my steel wool again. Glad I'm wearing my mask. These have a lot of particles. If you saw that in the light, you'd be surprised. So we got pieces disintegrating right in our hands here. My handy t-shirt, cleaning out the inside. Now, sometimes I will actually put some polish in there just to make it as smooth as possible. Let's just set this piece off to the side for a second while we work on our Darth Vader emitter. Now, like I said, I have a picture off to the side of a Darth Vader lightsaber. So if you don't know what a Darth Vader lightsaber looks like, maybe you could look it up. And that's what I'm looking at right here, that I'm going to try to turn this part that I kind of rough cut, rough shaped into something like what I got inspired by Darth Vader's emitter. So I want to have a greebly punch through here that is going to be like akin to the Darth Vader brass thumb screw, and potentially the angle. I think I'm going to use my cuts though as like as a replacement for the angle on the Darth Vader emitter, because that's basically a just an inspiration, and this is going to be a collar to this lightsaber that's going to go right about here, as you can see. So it's going to be underneath the emitter on this particular lightsaber. I've got it shaped pretty well. Now, certain things are uneven about it. The top, for instance. So I have this type of sandpaper here that is actually purple, and it's supposed to be easier to work with. Works faster. Let's pull out a piece of that. Here's some rough one. This is a rough one. 80. That might be too much. Oh, this looks like another 80. That's a 36. That might be. Well, let's pull that out anyway. I know that's not purple. Purple one's the easier one. Call it quick sanding sheet. Here's another one. Purple 3M1 320. And another 80. Okay. Another 320. All right, I think we're good. That will serve my purpose. Oh, we got JB Kuma here. Hail, JB. What is going on, Saberinos? Glad to see a mask on your mug. Yeah, I got inspired by JB Kuma. He's in the back of my head saying, you better wear a mask. This one is from Adafruit. You know, I bought a bunch of these LEDs. Like these like 332 per meter LEDs that I make the dual star Omega. And when you buy a lot of stuff from there, maybe just anything, I don't know, they send you a mask. So that was nice of them. But although my mom gave me a pack of these black masks as well, I like the black ones better than the blue ones. They make me look more like a ninja. So black one works for the spaceship. All right, let me start with this one here. I'm going to take this collar. We are going to kick up maybe a little bit of dust here, and it's metal dust, so another good thing with the mask. I have a flat surface. I'm just going to shape this a little bit here. I need a very straight top to the emitter, because you will see that on the saber. I think light will reflect off it too. That's another thing you have to think about when you're building these lightsabers, is close to the emitter, like where is the light going to bounce around? Sometimes it looks cool. Sometimes you make it cooler. Sometimes that light reveals a problem or some kind of mark or some kind of unevenness. So that's why I like to make everything as perfect as possible, because it really is the light's gonna bounce all over these parts once the saber's in action. Just like the light bounces off, like here, we can see the facets of a part like this, and this is going to be the top. So when all said and done, we want to have all these angles not only shaped well but shiny, so that the light really reflects off of it. The more even I can manage sanding this, the better and faster it'll come out. If I start wiggling it too much, it's not going to be straight, and I'll have to keep going. Next thing you know, you've taken too much off. And what I found out is it's much easier. Like if I was sanding the bottom of this part, see how it's a complete circle? It rests easily on the table that way. This, it's not a complete shape, so it tends to want to fall one way, and then you get this uneven sanding to it. So that's what I'm trying to correct right here. There's a bit of an unevenness to it. And like I said, it would be revealed. It would be revealed when the saber's on, so you have to take care of that. I don't have a flat enough surface on my sanding wheel to make this happen. It would be a mess. So that's why I do it by hand here. Some of the parts or some of the roads I use to get to this point with this part, I did use some power tools and some Dremel. But at this stage, I think it's kind of about hand sanding it at this point, because I've got the basic shape I want, and I'm just trying to make it better. I could even see it when I'm holding it up to my light here, that it's a little uneven, the same way I saw when I had it pushed up against there. One other thing I wanted to do here on this part, I have some of this blue or purple sanding paper around a blade tube so that it's just round, and I can actually get in there and kind of sand the inside a little bit here. So it was a bit tight, and it's okay if it's if it's a little looser, because I could always put some aluminum tape in there to tighten it up. Or since there's going to be some set screws going directly through this into the hilt, that is going to hold it in. It's going to hold it in proper. So as long as I get it not so tight, it's like scratching the emitter when I try to put this thing together at this point. I like things to go together a little more smoothly. How you feeling, JB? Feeling good this weekend? Still tall on the bulky side. It's still tall, which means I have to fix the bevel too. It's like once I take down that slightly tall side where my thumb is here, changes the bevel, and I could see on the rim that it's going to present a little different light than the rest, so I have to change the bevel a little bit there. That's probably annoying. Hopefully it doesn't sound like nails on a chalkboard to anybody. I don't know what that sounds like on the mic. Oh, it's looking flatter. It's looking flatter. Okay. A couple more friendly strokes. It's an exercise in like trying to keep this thing even. Yeah, it certainly is changing the lip of this thing. I think I'm going to use my bigger hand file here to change the bevel here. Can't you see that the lip of that thing is like fatter on the bulkier end and then gets thinner? So if I take off a little bit of that, let's see. I think it will look overall meaner when it's cleaner. Paint this part black. It'll match, the rest of the saber's got a lot of black to it. Got the Darth Vader style control box. We'll have a Darth Vader inspired collar / shroud. And we've got some, Darth Maul, Kanan, and I would say like Qui-Gon elements in the saber too. Getting there. The whole idea with using a thick piece like this is to be able to show off all these angles. Like when you have a MHS shroud material piece like this, you can do beveling. There's only so much beveling you can do because the material is very thin. But with a thick piece like this, I could show off. I could drill a hole and kind of show off the concave, conical hole as like a greebly surround, as if there's like maybe a thumb screw in there as well. Or I can kind of drill halfway through. I can put Graflex pins in this part itself if I wanted to do that. And as I bevel the different the different lines on here, you really will see those facets open up when the light hits it. It'll bounce cleanly onto each section. It really kind of matters with a lightsaber. It almost sounds silly. It's like, well, trying real hard there, but it's going to end well. It's going to look good at the end. It's got to look good lit up. Even though this part's going to be black, you will see the light reflecting off of it, especially if you do your job right and prepare the piece. Like I'm going to sand this until it's shiny, and then make it black. Normally on a Saturday or Sunday, this is the type of thing I'm doing anyway. It's just that usually on this TV right here, I'll be playing, Star Wars or Star Trek or some kind of show, maybe Harry Potter movies, and just kind of doing this while I listen to that. Some different methods I use with these bigger hand files. Sometimes I'll even put them down and run the part along the hand file. Right here, I'm actually just using the hand file as a sculpting tool. I'm happy too that I'm standing like upright like this rather than hunched over. That's kind of why I use my drill press tray, because I could raise it up to this point and be at a certain level where I'm not, hunched over. My back's not going to hurt later, things like that. Sometimes I feel like the only way you can really do this type of thing is when you're standing up, so you have that stance. Sitting down, I think it would end up kind of hurting you in the long run. Oh, awesome. Mad Science Workshop. Heart rate is down 20 ticks. Awesome. I think you had the similar issue. My sister got corrected late last year. Starting to feel human again. Awesome. First week of recovery was a bit more significant than I expected. I had to reschedule COVID dose number 2. I will be getting that this Friday. Awesome. Yeah, I think there's a huge window you actually have to get that second jab. So I think it's fine, right, that you postponed. You can wait a while if you have to. I know they were saying they were trying to get the the first dose to more people, and maybe the second dose had to wait a little bit, but it was going to be fine. So I think it's fine. Felicia Marie is here, catching the nitty gritty. Sweet. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us last night too. We were up late last night with Jedi Arms Dealer. There are some really awesome highlights to that show. If you haven't seen it yet, you have something that you can watch. It should be under the live tab on my channel. Last night's stream was actually this morning, right? It was like 2 a.m. or whatever. But we talked about Daria Tang's saber. He has a Skywalker lineage. That's what we're calling it. I don't know if that's what it's called by Sabercraft, but it's made by Sabercraft. It's called the Big Boy. I don't know if they call it the Jedi or the Skywalker lineage, or if that's what we just call it between us. But it's the Big Boy, the Sabercraft Big Boy. It is such an awesome saber. A Jedi Arms Dealer totally hooked up Daria. It's got a 24 karat gold part on it. It has a crystal focus 10 neopixel. It's got a lot of neopixels on the inside. I forget, maybe I don't know how many there were on the inside that light up the chassis. It's got a magnetic dropout chassis video in about a week. Go look at Jedi Arms Dealer's channel, subscribe there, and you'll see that video. Now I'm going to make the blade for that saber. Photonic blade, K-Star. It's going to be the brightest in the world. So you can see some of that saber when it gets to me before it goes to Daria in about a month, I would say, maybe a couple weeks, hopefully. And actually, Jedi Arms Dealer showed a lot of it last night, or this morning. So if you go watch that stream, you'll be able to catch a sneak peek of that gold-plated lightsaber like nothing anybody has. I told Jedi Arms Dealer last night that I think it's the best saber in the world. You should probably go check it out and definitely watch that video when it comes out, when Jedi Arms Dealer releases that video. I know a lot of people like Sabercraft and a lot of people like the Big Boy, or is that what it's called? Yeah, the Big Boy. Jedi, or because it's kind of like the lightsaber, like as if Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi lightsaber went to the next level, like maybe the one he used 50 years later, something like that. That's the idea. So it looks a lot like the Return of the Jedi Luke, but it's just taken to the next level. It's got a copper button plate. It's got LEDs built into the button plate. And Jedi Arms Dealer lit up the entire thing with neopixels, 2 speakers. It's loud. It's got to be, the best saber in the world. I don't know, because it's something else. Here we go. It's taking shape. It's almost there. This is much improved over 10 minutes ago, I think. I did a lot of the heavy lifting previous streams, or just previously. Here we go. Clean up the inside a little bit. Like, this piece really needs to be shined up. Because this, unlike the MHS shroud material that always comes from TCSS, from the custom saber shop, in pretty good condition, right? Sometimes it's even wrapped in plastic. Sometimes it's wrapped in paper. Comes in pretty nice condition, shiny and stuff. But this pipe that I got, let me see if I have another bit of it here. I think it's over there, but this pipe is pretty rough. Nice aluminum, but it had some, some gashes in it and stuff. So another purple. This is good for doing your round. One of these sanding blocks that you might think is only for wood or only for using on the wall or something is actually pretty good for round saber bits, as you can press your saber part into it and really get a nice shine as you roll the part and push the part into the block. It's a foam block, so it gives. I have like a big assortment of sandpaper and sanding blocks. It's like one of the things I like to work with. Oh, that's cleaning it up quite nicely. See like the nice shine that's starting to happen on there, if there's enough light in here for you to catch that. But it's really starting to look very nice, like with the minimal effort, I would say, with the sanding block here. You know, there might be a couple more times that I have to actually clean it up, depending on how the next stage of working with this part goes. For instance, you have to connect it to the hilt. So if I make a divot, or if I kind of make a scratch while I'm putting the hole through this for some set screws or whatever I use, then I will also have to go back and sand it again. So I don't really have to get every single thing out right now. It's going to be touched again. We'll get it going on this, which one is this, 320. Get more of oh yeah, that's looking good. Woo. That's looking good. But yeah, I'll show you this edge, and you can see why I need to work on the bevel a little bit more. See how the edge there is not even? Like, it's nice and flat, but it's one part's fat, one part's skinny. That's where this comes in. I try to fix the bevel this way, because I know it's flat on the top. Now we just need to get this angle right. But obviously, the more mass, the more material on this thicker pipe, the harder it is, or the longer it takes, right, to work with it. For sure, I'm getting hungry. You know, working on something like this, you get hungry. Wants to come cook. Mundo's going to come over and cook me something. Jeremy King Tech. Hey there. Saber Pals, how's everyone doing? How are you doing, Jeremy? Thanks for being here. I'm doing great. I'm having a good weekend working on sabers. We're going to get JJ's saber out this week. The Qui-Gon, the Goodman Qui-Gon is shipping out because my customer got home from a business trip. So I've just been sitting here waiting for him to get home. That's shipping out. So we got some major projects heading out the door. Got some other ones building up, building a Graflex for Casey. That's going to be done in a couple days. I think I have my programming for my Graflex contest saber right here. Let me hold it up for you guys. It's kind of in pieces. Some pieces are taken off. But if you remember this Graflex contest saber, this one won the contest last year, and I have it slightly, disassembled because I'm just changing up the programming, getting that ready for a video. I have my FX Sabers Graflex on the bench with it's actually done, but I'm working on the programming. It's not like years ago where you can kind of finish the wiring and then you're kind of up and running that very day. I feel like these days I have to spend a bit more time with the programming to get it right. And that's kind of where I'm at with my FX Sabers Graflex, is that, you know, I put in a CF10 and it works, but it's like some of the accents aren't on, and I have to go into the programming and change those settings, make sure the accents work the way I want. I mean, you always had to do that. You always had to do that, but it's a little more daunting now with all the new stuff. It takes a bit more time. You can get it more precise than ever before, though, I'll tell you, with the new tech. It just takes longer. There's more facets to it, or more angles to it, whatever you want to say. There's more options. There's a lot more options. Nice thing is there's a lot more people building. I've been noticing a lot more people building sabers. That's exciting. But even still, I think a lot more people want sabers than there is sabers. Don't you guys think so? A lot more people that are probably on a waiting list for something, right? Then there is enough people making them. Maybe that's how it's always been, though. Yeah, I'm going for the thickness on this bevel of almost like a MHS shroud thickness at the top. So I'll show you what I mean in 1 second. I want it to be almost like the thickness at this top. Oh, it's looking a lot better. It's looking a lot, I think you'll notice. Let me show you. It's really looking a lot better. Check out this, the lip is a lot nicer now there. Hopefully the light, you know what, let me show you. I have a light right here. Let me aim it at this thing. Here we go. Okay. Let's aim it at this thing. Can you see that? A nice lip at the top. Is getting a lot more even, right? As I bevel that side. And then, you know, I'll clean up that bevel with some sandpaper. We'll get it nice. Like the bottom's flat, but we'll get that to look nicer. And the top's almost there. Just get that top to look nicer. The 320 works real nicely. Getting it flat, and then use my 3000. Maybe this is 1200. No, it's 3000. That's very flat on the bottom. All we need to do is shine it up. Oh yeah. Okay. Where's my? Here you go. Sanding block will work well again on the bevel side, I think. Or should I have it flatter? Maybe I should have a flatter thing going on here. If I can roll it with the same angle, that would be good. Autobots, roll out. Roll this part out. That's doing a good job there, but I want it flatter. You'd kind of be surprised by the dust. You might be thinking, oh, you're doing it by hand and probably not that much dust. But then when you go to clean up afterwards, there'll actually be some dust around here. So I moved some of my vital things away from this. Vital projects. But when you go to use the power tools, there's a lot more dust that'll kick up then. And you'd be surprised at how far it gets. It'll be like like 6 feet in each direction. It'll settle. One time I was planning a trip to New York, and my buddy Darth Chasm, Mike, said, I think we were planning to go to a Comic-Con or something. And he said, I'd asked, I'd invite you to stay at my apartment. The thing is, there's metal shavings everywhere. I understood. I got it. I understood. He said, I even sleep in metal shavings sometimes because that's how much he's working hard on making a part or something. And then the tools, when you're in an apartment, you'd be surprised if they go 6 feet in every direction. I mean, that's covering a lot. But even doing it by hand, you'll see it, you'll feel it around. So I got a vacuum right here. Sometimes I'll even have this on while I'm using the power tools in a position that it could suck some of the stuff out the air. Oh, Jeremy's doing pretty good. Awesome. Sounds like you're nice and busy. Yeah, I'm a little behind is the truth. I've been working on this particular saber for a year. Maybe more. No, maybe more. Malcolm's been waiting longer than that. So it's just amazing how time flies when you're having a good time and making sabers, and then it's just become the time it's gotta get done. So, believe me, I want to put it together. But I do want it to be, I want to look at it every time and know that I did the best I could with each part. So I'm just trying to make each part look awesome. Oh, I see something I can correct right there. This looks like it needs to be, maybe hit this a little more here. This angle is bad on the claws. What happened? I noticed that and then forgot about it until I looked at it again. I'm going to create a bigger opening here to accommodate that. How I can fix the angle. Oh yeah, I kind of fixed it already. Yeah, it's just a minor issue, but trying to match these both sides. I'm gonna have to take this down a little bit more of an angle here. It's got to be more noticeable for the light to be bouncing off it. It's a certain look. You won't know how thick this part is unless I do this part right. Okay, it's matching more evenly all the way around. Oh yeah, I'm liking that a lot better now. That angle looks better. It's certainly more even around the circumference here than it was when we started. What I'll usually do is, work on a part like this, things get dusty, things get dirty, things get sweaty, and then I'll go and take my shower, clean up, and then work on the electronic stuff. Maybe not for this saber because it's not ready yet, but for something else, or make a blade. Once I'm all cleaned up, I don't like to go from this job here to right to the other side there where I make blades, because you don't want to have dust and metal shards falling all around when you're working with electronics. Oh, looking good. Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, try and do the best I can with every part here for Malcolm's saber. He's been waiting a while, so at the same time, I don't want to rush it. I do want to get him the best possible looking thing, and since it's a unique design that we both came up with together, I think it's really going to look cool. And I can't wait to show you guys a fully assembled thing. I think when it lights up through that 7-slotted emitter, and you'll see the blade color on the crystal chamber. And I think this might be a loud one because there's going to be some resonance in there. Mad Science Workshop says, dinner time, Saberinos. May the force be with you. May the force be with you, JB. Thanks for being here. I think we're all going to take a break for dinner in a couple minutes. But I think we got pretty far on this. Just stick around a couple more minutes and I'll show you this piece a little shinier. Let's maybe work on, I think I got an idea. I will put a piece of this sandpaper around my hand file. Let's see if I can't make this look beautiful this way. To extract the beauty, unearthing the beauty of this part, layer by layer. Ooh, yeah, this is working. Oh yeah, now I can almost ready to show you that this part here. Oh, this looks a lot better. Oh yeah, that's a double. That's the bevel we were looking for. This isn't the bevel you're looking for. Move along. Okay, now where's the next level? What do we got here? This one. Maybe this. No. $1,200. Make this look even prettier. A big piece of jewelry going right over the collar of the saber. Something Malcolm can be proud of. He's killing his Sith. Or maybe he's a Sith and he's killing Jedi. This is I made a saber a long time ago called Jedi Battle Master. Nice, big, and heavy saber. I think it was about 14 inches long. Had a big hunk of metal in the center of it that was kind of like this, acted like a counterweight. A lot of people like the Battle Master that I made, even though it was kind of a big saber. Even years later, I had people asking, is that still around? Like, can I get that? But it was for a customer. Okay. Yeah, if you're interested in seeing, some other customs I've done, I've got a playlist called Custom Lightsabers. You can check that out. I did a video, I think, for every lightsaber that I ever made, so they're all there if you want to check it out. The Jedi Battle Master was probably you probably have to scroll back quite a bit. That might have been from 2012 or something like that. Okay, well, it's getting there. I like to show you guys, and then I'll take it farther the next time as well. And the bevel seems to need like extra attention to get it, because I guess of the way it surrounds this piece. Oh, but it's looking so much better. It's looking a lot better. Pretty. Okay, so this is what this piece is looking like now. It's a little bit shinier. It's shaped better. You can see those 2 points kind of match up better. Even the bottom looks better. Shine that up a bit. Let's maybe see how this looks on the saber here. Okay, it's fitting better too because I took care of the inside. What do you think? It's kind of how it. See how it makes the emitter. Stick my finger in there. See how it makes the emitter. Kind of follows the line of the guard. The bevel does. Not that just the positioning there. It's going to align more so with those slots that are there to be even. And then that all goes the next bit. There's another part here. Oh, this is the bit right here. Closer there. As you can see, oh, no, that's not right. I have to put this on first. But after the after that collar is going to go the Darth Vader clamp box, and then we've got all our other parts here, which I want to blow this off before actually assembling anymore. But I think it's coming out a lot better. This collar looks a lot more even, although I do see it's not quite perfect. I think I have to fix. Can't you see that the gap there may not be completely even? So I will have to fix that. Okay, well, I think we're going to close down the stream. Thank you for checking this out today. I hope you could take something away from the way I do custom saber, at least the small bits that I was doing. Maybe you could gain a tip, or maybe you have a tip to give me. Give a comment, tell me what you think, and try to have more of this me see. The mechanicals of this will probably be ready in the next stream, or we can maybe go further and start the electronics, because I think I'm pretty close. I might, work on this in the background, use the drill press to pull in some, not only agreeably on this Darth Vader piece, but also set screws to actually hold it in place, paint it black after it's perfect, of course. That's going to set it off really nicely against like the pommel area that's black and the control box that's also black. So, it'll be almost half and half. There's also black paint on the, or anodizing on the inside of the shroud here, the Kanan style shroud. So that'll be another accent bit. Let's see if anybody said anything else, and we'll close it down. Oh, Mundo says, coming along nicely. Thank you, Mundo. May the force be with you. Awesome. Well, the force will be with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again, guys. Don't forget to saber the moment, build your sabers, and come back for the next chill stream, build stream, lightsaber hangout. I'll talk to you guys soon.